Hello, this is Marko Vovk from www.houseinvestigations.com. If you go outside on a humid day, you may inhale 100,000 mold spores. If you place 5 bags of mulch around bushes, you inhale another 1 million mold spores, and you never once complain about mold. However, when the mold inspector tells you you have 1,000 mold spores of penicillium in your basement, you start to have short-term memory loss, headaches, and your fingernails turn green. Homes today are tight and built with materials that no longer hold water. So when it gets wet, they stay wet. In the old non-air conditioning days, homes could dry from the inside out and the outside in. Today, we install exterior siding systems such as EIFS, synthetic stucco, culture stone, hardy board without proper drainage spaces, which could be simply a 3/8 inch drainage gap behind the siding material, or without proper drainage planes, which could simply be properly installed house wrap. And some builders even install brick without weep holes, which are needed to drain the brick when it becomes wet. Additionally, we now have aluminum-clad windows, which are now rotting all over the country, and we fill the interior walls with foam, fiberglass, and cellulose. Some of us even install non-breathable plastic visqueen or vinyl wallpaper on the inside of our walls. Then we turn our unbalanced HVAC systems on along with man's dumbest invention, the furnace humidifier, and then we wonder why we have mold. Mold needs spores, nutrients, and water. Spores and nutrients are everywhere. Mold can grow on a dusty mirror. It eats drywall for dessert, and yes, it can grow on your green board drywall in your bathroom. You cannot fool the mold. We cannot control mold spores or nutrients, but we can control water. No water, no mold, end of story. Water comes from water events, house dampness, moisture intrusion, moist air entering the home due to negative pressures from a poorly balanced HVAC system, high indoor humidity from moisture generators such as basement sump pumps that are not 100% sealed lid, humidifiers, vented crawl spaces, vented appliances, all of which can promote mold growth. Along with the mold are bacteria, dust mites, cockroaches, other insects, and chemical outgassing of building materials. Therefore, we have multiple agents present in damp homes that simultaneously can cause health effects. Furthermore, damp homes permit pre-1978 painted surfaces to fail and become lead dust, pipe insulation to become heavy and fall to ground and become friable, possibly containing asbestos or fiberglass. We have OSB, particle board, and presswood, all of which can outgas formaldehydes when they become moist. Finally, let us not forget about air fresheners, aerosols, paints, thinners, cleaners, agents, glues, resins, fecal pellets from dust mites, house dust, insect fragments, pollen, and mouse trappings, and much, much more. All of this can make us sick. What about the 40% of Americans that may have side effects from their prescription drugs? I had one elderly client pay me thousands of dollars to test her home for many things, only to find out her itching and skin rashes were a side effect from her prescription drug. You cannot just blame mold for your sickness. If you have high humidity, a pet, and carpet, you probably are getting sick from fecal pellets caused by dust mites. This mold craze started in Cleveland with a few dead babies that lived in damp and possibly lead paint, asbestos, dust-filled, dirty, carpeted homes, along with their possibly cigarette smoking, alcohol drinking, or prescription taking moms. And it's even possible that some of these moms did not own vacuum cleaners. This small Cleveland mold ripple effect went all the way across the country to California, where it was repackaged and sent back to us in a tidal wave. Tidal wave stopped at a few Hollywood movie stars' homes to gain some extra momentum and turbulence, such as Ed McMahon, who blamed mold for his illness, and also blamed mold for the death of his poor little doggy Muffin. Then all the snake oil salesmen morphed into mold experts and started teaching, testing, selling the wonderful world of mold. Now you have a multi-billion-dollar industry that survives on mold alone. If you perform an easy tape lift mold test and send the same sample to 5 different labs, you will get 5 different test results. If you test the air for mold spores in the morning, they'll be different in the afternoon. Many times the same mold spores are on the outside as they are on the inside, except when you turn on your furnace, the quantities change. When your mold test reaches the lab, cronies dressed in white lab coats, that are certified because they took a 4-day class on microscopy, identify and count the number of mold colonies or spores. Nobody ever checks these white coat cronies for dyslexia or if they flunked their high school math. Then a week later, the mold results come back and your mold expert tells you that you are going to be sick because you have toxic mold and everything in your home is contaminated. I just read the December 2010 140-page New York State Toxic Mold Task Force report. After reading this document, I still did not learn anything I did not already know. This is what I know. If you smell mold and you see mold, you have mold. Additionally, all molds are bad unless it's non-moldy cheese in your refrigerator. You need to correct the water, moisture, and humidity problems in your home. It is that simple. You do not need a governmental task force of 14 individuals who probably know absolutely nothing about home construction, building science, or moisture intrusion, studying Mold 101 and telling us what we need to do. This mold thing is very simple. If your basement, crawl space, attic, roof, plumbing have leaks, fix them. If you have high indoor humidity, lower it. Run a basement dehumidifier. If your home has condensation or anything, something is screwed up, go find out what's screwed up. Sometimes you need to call a good ASHI home inspector or a building scientist, such as myself, to help diagnose a more complex moisture problem. After you correct the moisture problem, take precautions so the moisture problems do not occur again. You do not need expensive laboratory tests to tell you that you have mold. Who cares what kind of mold it is anyway? All mold is bad. As far as toxic and non-toxic mold, those are scam words used by mold litigators, mitigators, and scamulators. And even in New York City, they do not use the word toxic mold anymore. Then there are those special top secret formula chemicals that kill mold. Mold does not care what you use. Your house dust is loaded with millions of spores just waiting to be watered. And even if you clean all the dust, when you open the front door to buy Girl Scout cookies, the mold spores come back in. If you are healthy, go ahead and clean up the mold. After all, you just lay down 5 bags of mold-infested mulch. Go ahead, put in your respirator and some gloves and have some fun. When I was 5, I used to make mud pies and eat them, and I am still here 45 years later. Mold is overrated. We must build our homes properly for the geographical area we live in and use materials that are compatible with the rest of the products in our homes. We need to drain the rain and let our homes dry when they get wet. In cold climate zones, builders must stop venting crawl spaces, stop installing interior vapor barriers, and stop installing house products wrong. Furthermore, it is truly amazing that the public relies on mold tests and mold mitigation contractors for all their answers. It seems that we are getting dumber and dumber. Thank you for watching. This is Marko Vovk from www.houseinvestigations.com. Please subscribe to my channel and watch my other videos.